Hello everyone, good afternoon. Hello. Welcome. Nice to see you all. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. This is our last of these sessions for this year. So we run these roughly every half term just to help people get to grips with their NACE membership and make sure that they're really getting from it. So we'll just allow people to arrive and get going. So before we start, just to let you know, today's session is being recorded and we will make that recording available afterwards. So if you have any colleagues that you think would be useful for them as well, that will be available. Or if you just want to watch back any sections, you're obviously in control of your own video and microphone settings, but yeah, do keep the video on if you're happy to. We like to see who we've got with us in the virtual room. Likewise, if you just have a quick check that your screen name is showing your name and school, again, it's just really useful for us to see who's in the room with us. As usual, you can use the group chat if you've got any questions or comments at any point during the session, and we'll aim to allow some time for Q&A at the end, towards the end of the session. So yeah, do pop any questions or comments in as we go along. So I'm Laura, I'm part of the core operations team at NACE, usually all in the office together. At the moment, we're a bit of a mixture of still working from home and partly being back in the office. Most of you will have had some contact with one or more of us already, but this is just to put some faces to some of the names that you may have already spoken to. Vicky, our membership manager, is in the process of moving to Canada, excitingly, so she's not joining us live today, but we do have Ailsa with us, who is up in Scotland, and we've got Karen as well, who is in the NACE head office. But do have a look at our website as well, because we have a much wider team of associates, trustees and patrons who we work with, and they're all on our website. Wider NACE community. And before we go any further, it would just be useful to find out a little bit more about you all and who we've got with us this afternoon. So we've just got 3 quick questions, and you should see a poll popping up on the screen in just a moment. So first of all, which best describes your role within the school? Secondly, what stage are you at with your NACE membership? So are you completely new? Are you personally new, but you know that the school has been involved with NACE for a while? Or are you a little bit more experienced, or indeed very experienced, but just keen to check in and make sure you're not missing anything? And then the final question there, just to find out, are you the lead contact for NACE membership in your school? So unsurprisingly, it looks like most of you are the lead for more able learners within your school. Most of you are completely new, at least as an individual and or as a school, and almost all of you are the lead contact. So that's useful. We will go through some of the things that you can do and access as the lead contact as well during the session. So hopefully there will be something useful for everyone within the session. As I said, the aim is just to give you some idea of where to get started with the membership so that you can sort of jump in, start using it this term, start embedding it over the summer and really get going with it come September. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Karen for the next part of the session. So over to Karen.
Thank you, Laura. Hi, everybody. My name is Karen. I work mainly with Challenge Award and CPD events, but today I'm going to give you a whistle-stop tour around managing your profile, your NACE membership profile, and show you where to get started when you first join as a member, and show you around a few useful hints and tips. So, okay, so I'm going to start here. This is the front page, I suppose, of your profile. This is mine, lovely picture of me there. Basically, this is the information that you would put in when you sign up. Okay, so as you can see, we've got lots of tabs and lots of menus, bits and pieces. So I'll give you a quick guide to where I think you should begin on this. So I'm going to go up to the welcome menu, and under here we've got accounts and settings. Okay, so this page is where you can update, edit all your personal and professional information. Sorry, I'm going to go a little bit slower because I know that can. Okay, so obviously you can see here, you can change your password and username and so on. There's a couple of other things I just want to draw your attention to. The first one being this manage email preferences link here. Now I'm not going to click on it because it shows a pop-up and I'd have to stop sharing and start sharing again on a different screen. So basically we have 3 different settings here. We have general, we have membership, and we have the head teacher briefings setting. We would recommend that you definitely have the membership and the general. And obviously, if you are part of the leadership team in your school, then the head teacher briefings would be useful for you too. The membership setting will allow us to communicate with you about member benefits, news, opportunities, and we have a monthly news feed, which if you've been a member for over a month, you should have received one of those already. I think we've got another one imminent. So that's the membership. The general one would allow us to communicate with you about events and services that you've purchased. So that's kind of important information that we would need to get to you. And obviously the head teacher briefings, we also have a briefing that we send out regularly that would be useful to any leadership team in school. So, okay, so those are the email preferences. As I say, you should have at least a couple of those checked for us to be able to get important information to you. I'm just going to scroll down here and see if there's anything else that I need to talk about. If you have a school Twitter account, it would be really useful if you could pop that in. That would be great. We can follow you and you can follow us. We are at NACE UK. Okay. So I'm going to go to the information and settings. And in here, basically, we have notification management. We have our community of obviously lots of members, and you can get automatic notifications on a number of things here. Also at the bottom, you can opt for daily or weekly updates, and those are automatic emails rather than the NACE news feeds, which come out separately to your personal email. A number of you have indicated that you are the lead contact for NACE, and I'm going to show you this sub-accounts section. Now, sub-accounts, on our system, it calls them seats, which is, to me, a very strange way of putting it, but I suppose it makes sense. So you can ask your colleagues to set up their own profiles on the NACE system. This means that they will have access to the same resources and benefits that you do. Anything that comes within your membership, they will also have access to. And it obviously means that they will receive their own news feeds and information from us. There are two ways of setting up a sub-account that links directly to your school, and they are here. So first of all, we have this link. You can copy this. Obviously, it will be different for yours. Copy it and paste it into an email and send it to any of your colleagues. They can then use this and it will set them up directly on your school's membership. Or down the bottom there, we have an invite new members box where you can put their email addresses in and send an invite. Ever so simple. And it basically just means that everybody in your school can have their own logins, which is great. They can, you know, if they wanted to come on any of our free webinars or whatever, they've got their own profile there. Okay. I'm just going to go on to payments and history now. Show you quickly what we've got on here. Now, I haven't got any invoices outstanding or paid on mine, unfortunately, but they would be listed here. So this is where you would come to see your invoices. If you are the lead member for your school, you would see the membership dues under here. And obviously, if there are any CPD events or anything that requires payment, they would also come up under here. Event registrations, also this shows what you are registered on. So we have upcoming events and we have past events. And you can see that I've signed myself up for a couple of other free webinars on there, which I would recommend. Okay, so I've had a look at payments and history and registration and the profile. And I think that's probably enough for now on the profile settings. There's obviously a whole lot more in there, but I think those are the most important things that you need to get to grips with initially. So I'm going to now go back to the NACE website and see what we can get into here. So I can either click on the logo there, which is up in the top left corner. I'm going to go back, or I can go through quick links to any of these areas. Okay, so I'm going to go back using the logo here so you can see the main screen. Now, underneath membership, we've got this excellent page called Get Started, and that's where I'm going to take you now. Get started with your NACE membership. We've worked hard on this page to make sure that we've got everything in here that you might need to start off with. Obviously, it's not going to be everything, but you can contact us at any time if you have any questions. We have a contact us link at the top there. I would like to show you here the book a free support call button, link, should I say. We do offer free support calls to any of our members. It would be, basically an appointment you set up. We will give you a call back and hopefully we'll be able to answer any of your queries on membership. So that's a really useful function that we've got there for you. Sorry about that. Also, just here, this will be where we'll put the recording of this video with my rather embarrassing slip up. Okay, so that's where you can share it with your colleagues. So under here we have a number of different menus, and I'm just going to go through them very quickly because there's so much information on here. I don't want to overwhelm you completely. So manage your profile and payments. This is pretty much stuff that I've already gone through with you briefly, so I'm not going to spend too much time there. The only thing that I might point out to you is, okay, when you go into payments and history and you've got invoices up on your screen, This green link here allows you to view your invoice as a printable form. And it kind of, I don't know if it's because it's green and it kind of hides away a little bit, but we do have a lot of questions about that. So I'm just highlighting that's where you can find it. Obviously, do give us a call if you have any issues with that. But I just wanted to point that out to you. View invoice or receipt, just up there. Okay, so we have a huge members resource library, and Laura's going to talk to you a little bit more about that. I'm going to just scroll down here. Obviously, you can see we have links to various really useful resources here. You know, you can see we do have a section especially for those who are leading on More Able. And for those who are new to leading on More Able, more to the point, there's information in here about our CPD. We have lots of webinars that are available for you to just pick up and watch. Member meetups are especially wonderful. These are great little CPD, I don't know, meetings where you get to have a bit of CPD and you get to share with other members, good practice. Network groups, this is a new thing that we've been doing and have been really successful so far. There is a small charge for the network group session, but it is a very small charge, and we've so far had some really great discussions on those. R&D hubs you can get stuck into as well. Challenge Awards school experience visits. We've had a couple of remote visits so far in the last year, but we are going to be going back to live visits. So this is when a Challenge Awards school opens their doors and you know, gives guided tours and talks on how they've succeeded in Challenge Award accreditation. So look out for those. And again, courses, bespoke CPD, and coaching and mentoring. Fabulous stuff. We've got so much going on. School evaluation and improvement. We've got some webinars coming up soon, free webinars for you. You can find out more about those. Do dive in and have a look. I believe some of you are already working with the NACE Challenge framework, which is super. But again, have a look, see what's going on. That is such a useful school improvement tool. It's been used for years and years now, so since mid-2000s, and we have so much good feedback on that, and obviously can lead to accreditation if you wish. Networking collaboration, we've already gone through some of these. There's information here on how to get the head teacher briefings, but again, I've already gone through that. NACE Challenge Award accreditation, we have a little bit of information here. Now, I did see that some people have asked or have specified that they are interested in Challenge Award framework and accreditation. So one other page I would point out to you would be Challenge FAQs, which you can find under Challenge on the main page. There's a lot of information under here, as ever, which you can have a good look through in your own time. But that's a really useful page if you're interested in the Challenge Award. Obviously, we have lots of other information as well, but that's where I would direct you to initially, Challenge FAQs. I'm going to go back now to where I was. Okay. And I think just lastly on the Getting Started page, we have links to our partner discounts and offers. So this will take you through to a different page where you will find discounts from publishers and other partners that we've got together with and given you some benefits with those as well. Okay, so I'm going to hand over to Laura now. Hopefully that's been a useful kind of snapshot of how to kind of get started with your membership. We can obviously take questions at the end. I think Laura's just taken over. So I'm going to leave you now, and hopefully we can have a little chat at the end if you have any queries on anything. Okay, over to you, Laura.
Thank you, Karen. Yes, I've swooped in, so you should now be seeing my screen, hopefully. So where we've arrived at now is the members area of the website. So this is where you will usually be directed to if you log into the website. So you can also get there under the membership drop-down menu here. So come to the members area. And again, this is another good place to come just for a reminder of everything that's included in your membership, everything that you can access and yeah, kind of make use of. So I'll just briefly scroll down so you can see what's in here. So we've got a quick start guide available here, which is useful to look at just as a kind of checklist of things to get started with. A link to the Get Started page, which Karen has just taken you through. And again, we're highlighting there the partner offers, which are worth having a look at, especially if you're planning to buy any CPD books for your school. There's lots of offers in there from education publishers. So just scrolling down here, you can see quick links to all of the main things that we offer. So the resources is the main section that I will focus on and take you through because I know that's particularly useful for people. But just to reiterate, as Karen said, we've also got information here about the NACE Challenge framework, which can lead to the Challenge Award. A link here to all of our upcoming events. A link here to the member meetups, which Karen said those are great. So we've been doing those online for the past year or so. Really looking forward to bringing those back to being in-person events and getting that buzz in the room of our members getting to meet each other and share best practice in person. The webinars, again, yeah, really worth checking out. I'll say a bit more about those shortly. And about the R&D hubs and the research. And then just to highlight on this page, there is a link to past email briefings. So this includes our monthly news feed, which goes out to all our members, and also our termly head teacher briefing, which we call Views from the Top. So if you want to have a look back at past editions, just to get a feel for what's included in those and past topics that we've covered, you can find them all there. And we do also have online community forums, which is another way you can connect with peers and ask questions, or just share useful links and so on. So as I said, I'm mainly going to focus on the resources. So you can get to the main resources page here, or from the main website menu here. And you'll see as well, there's lots of quick links to go straight to different areas of the resource collection there as well. So just to show you what the main resource page looks like. So when you arrive, this is what you'll see. So here at the top of the page, we've highlighted featured resources. So these are mainly so some of our flagship collections and also some recently added resources. So you can see here, for example, the early years resource set, which we've just very recently updated so that it is aligned to the new early years framework, for example. So these are kind of recently added or updated resources, just to give you some starting points there. And then if I scroll down, you'll see the resources by category underneath. So you can go into each of these categories and kind of explore in more depth. I'm going to pick out some of the areas that I think will be most useful for you. And the first one I'm going to look at is, unsurprisingly, given who most of you are, the Leading On More Able collection. So this is our collection of resources for those leading on more able within a school. Some of these aimed more at those who are quite new to this role, but most of them are very general resources that you can use wherever you are individually within that role and wherever your school is at as well in terms of more able. So you can see here we've got some quite practical resources. So some here that are designed to help you get started. And different formats of resources as well. So there are some links to webinars. Some of them are quite practical kind of checklists that you can use. And some of them, like this essentials guide, and more kind of in-depth guidance that you might want to sort of print out and read through a bit more. So here, Karen did mention our network groups, which quite a new initiative, and as Karen said, have been really popular so far. So coming very soon, we will be putting the dates up for next year. I believe the 5th of October will be the first date for the More Able Leads network group. So one to keep an eye out for. And that's an opportunity just to share ideas, with others that are in the role. Really useful. And then scrolling down, I'll just highlight a few of these. So one resource that I would recommend to kind of start off with is this school policy guidance. I'll just click on so you can see an example of what's within these resources. So this is one that we've updated quite recently. I think it's quite useful to start off with because it gives you a really good overview of different areas to consider when you're either creating or updating your policy for more able learners. And there's also lots of links in here to sort of supporting resources. So there's, for example, supporting blog posts, supporting webinars, and sort of related documents that you can go away and read a bit more on any of these areas. So, lots in there, depending on which area you might want to focus a bit more on. So that's one of my top tips to get started with. That's just here on the Leading a More Able resource collection. Just below this one here, the subject leader's role is a document that we've recently added here. And it's quite a simple checklist, but it is something that I would flag because feedback from schools is that this is the type of thing that's quite useful in terms of getting the whole school on board, and that's something that we really advocate for. So really making sure that More Able is something that everyone in school is involved with and understands what their role is in More Able. And most of these resources are designed to be used across phases and across subject areas as well. So they are all in line with that kind of whole school ethos. And here I'll just highlight as well the section on identification. So again, this is something that we do get quite a lot of questions about, something that quite a lot of schools are keen to get a bit of support on. So we've got here some very practical documents to support your identification of more able learners. So we've got some general identification characteristics, and we've got some characteristics by subject area as well, which again might be useful to share with colleagues across your school and share with subject leaders and so on. And to support those documents as well, I would recommend watching our webinar on identification. So there's a recorded webinar, and I'll show you where to find that shortly. But that explains a lot more about the ethos behind our approach to identification, and more broadly, how we would recommend going about that. Just below here, we've got some, again, very practical resources on the use of individual education plans for more able learners. And there's a template IEP here as well that you can download and just adapt. So some of these resources are actually provided as Word documents so that you can just adapt them and use them very practically within your school. And we've got similarly a student questionnaire here that's very adaptable if you're looking at reviewing your use of digital learning, particularly in terms of the more able. So that's that resource collection. The next one I'll show you is the curriculum and pedagogy section. So you can see we've broken this down into subsections as well. But if we click onto the main page, this is what you'll see. So again, it's kind of organized into categories. So at the top of the page here, you can see what's included, and these are all quick links to take you to the area of the page that you're most interested in. But just to give you an overview, so we've got the NACE curriculum audit, which is another great resource to get started with. This is available free for members. We are running, Karen has kind of teased as well, we're running a webinar on this next week on Monday, and another one on Tuesday specifically for schools in Wales. So do join one of those sessions if you're able to. That's going to take you through how you can use this, how to get started using the curriculum audit. And again, it's another great way of getting the whole school involved. It's designed to be used either within a department or across the whole school to review all areas of your curriculum through the lens of providing for the more able, but also with this belief that actually that will have benefits for all of your learners. Just making sure that that appropriate level of challenge is there across the board. Just below, we have some resources specifically for schools in Wales to support kind of preparation for the new curriculum for Wales, and that's an area that we will be focusing on a lot next year as well. And then here we've got a range of resources to support challenge in the classroom, including the challenge cards. I'll just highlight, these are a very practical kind of off-the-shelf resource if you just want some quick challenge activities or challenge questions to use in your classroom. This first set that we've added is aimed at primary school age learners, but we do have in the pipeline a set for early years and a set for secondary. So those are coming soon. And then just below as well, we've got recently added some guidance for provision in English and in maths. Those are new additions to this page as well. Then the NACE assessment audit. This is a newly developed resource, and it complements the curriculum audit, which I was just talking about. And again, we're running a free webinar on that next week. That's going to be next Thursday evening, the 15th. So do join that one if you're able to, just to find out a bit more about that and yeah, our approach to assessment. And then we've got some resources to help you review your enrichment offer through the lens of More Able. Some sample Oxbridge interview questions, which are really popular kind of practical resource if you're focusing on helping students think about university or prepare for university. And they're also actually just very interesting questions, quite interesting, challenging questions to prompt different debates and discussions. It's a long list, and our trustee, Sue Mordecai, who developed this list, has just created a new set with even more questions in there. It's one of her side hobbies. She collects Oxbridge questions. And so yeah, keep an eye out for the new edition of that as well. And here we've got the early years resource set, which I've mentioned as well. So that's newly updated. So if you do work in a school that has an early years phase, do flag this set to your colleagues who work in the early years. Really useful for them. Okay, so that's the curriculum and pedagogy page. There's just a couple of others that I will flag to you as so under the guides and webinar section, we've got the NACE Essentials guides. So this is our sort of flagship range of guides, and these go into a bit more, well, quite a lot more detail. They're kind of small booklets that you can download and print out. They cover different areas of provision for more able learners. This getting started with Moreable. We've updated fairly recently. It's aimed at early career teachers, so a useful one to share with any early career teachers in your school, but also just a good refresher or starting point in general. So that's one that I would recommend. And then I'll just show you, if you look down, we've covered various different topics. So have a look through and see if any of these look particularly relevant for your school or for a particular quality in your school, and you can move in this direction. And we are always updating and adding to this collection as well. And lots of those essentials guides do have a corresponding webinar as well, so you can kind of watch and read the two in combination. So here is our webinars page. You can see here the upcoming live sessions, or in fact ongoing session in the case of this one. And there's the 3 sessions for next week, which we've been plugging throughout. And then here below you can see all of the recordings that are available. So these are past sessions that we've run. The browser's just being a bit slow to load. And these are all available for you as members to go and watch back at your own time. Lots of them have got accompanying resources with them. And these are just to be used really as and when it's relevant for you. You can use them as well. Some schools do use them to support CPD sessions within their school, either for sort of departments or within small groups. Most of them are around 40 minutes to an hour long. So quite good to use in kind of staff meetings and twilight sessions or start discussions. So yeah, fairly bite-sized, and obviously you can pause and have discussions as you're going through. And they're kind of quite a variety. So some of them are quite practical, some of them are subject or phase specific, and some of them are, just looking at different aspects of pedagogy for more able learners. And then we do have some sessions that would be useful for you as the more able lead. So there's one on how to update your school's more able policy, which was watched alongside the policy guidance I mentioned earlier. And then I'll just scroll down to the end of the page as well, and this is the one on identification, which I mentioned. That one is a little bit longer than some of the others. It goes into a bit more detail, but really, really useful to get that kind of foundation and solid sort of grounding in that area. I'm nearly done in my sort of whirlwind tour of the resources. I'll just show you a couple of other things. So the research section, this will give you an overview of current NACE research projects and point you in the direction of any opportunities to get involved in those. So these are some of the areas that we're focusing on at the moment. The NACE R&D hubs are opportunities to connect with other members and collaborate on engaging with research, and also carrying out small school-based research projects as well. And we are just finalising our hubs programme for next year. It's going to be, in the past they have been quite regionally focused, but obviously the past year has shown us that how much can be achieved through sort of remote connections as well. So we're going to be moving ahead with that model next year. So there will be opportunities to get in the hubs on a more of a themes-based approach, rather than necessarily just joining the one that is nearest to you. So yeah, keep an eye out for full details of those soon. And then the last thing on here, I just wanted to mention a small thing, the members logo. So our 2021 to 22 edition of the members logo is available here now for you to download. So do take that. It's available in a few different formats, and you can pop that onto your school website, stationery, email signatures, etc., and showcase your membership. So that's kind of the resources in a nutshell. Hopefully a few useful places for you to get started, hopefully a few ideas. As I said, we are always adding to them, updating them, and we will let you know about what's new in the monthly newsfeed. And the next edition of that is coming out this week, so stay tuned. And as Karen mentioned, these are all available to all of the colleagues in your school as well. So do get them signed up with their own sub-account, their own login details, to make sure that they can go in there, have a look through and find what's most relevant to them as well. And finally, last thing for me, our blog. So this is one of the ways that we share good practice across our community. You can browse by category here, you can search by keyword, or you can just scroll down and have a look at some of the latest featured blog posts and see if anything catches your eye. So the keyword search is a good one if you're looking for ideas in a particular area. So do have a rummage around in there, and do get in touch with us if you would like to contribute. We're really keen to share good practice from all the schools in our community. So do contact us if you've got something to share. It could be a specific intervention that you've done, or a kind of whole school initiative, or a particular approach within a subject or within an area of provision. So do share. We'll be delighted to hear from you. On which note I will stop sharing there. Pause and invite questions or comments. We've got 15 minutes actually, so plenty of time. If anyone's got any questions, speak up, give us a wave, or type into the chat box.
Okay, I'm gonna take this question on the challenge framework. So how would we get started with the challenge framework? What is the first step? So I don't know if you've already purchased the framework, but I would recommend we offer 3 packages with the challenge framework. So package 1 is you would just purchase the framework itself. So that's literally just all the documents. So the framework plus supporting documents. Now there's a lot in here, so you could make a good start with this, and many schools, this is all they do. So this is how they start. The documents include a PowerPoint, which we keep up to date, that can be used to CPD for the staff, because obviously it involves a whole school collaboration. So it involves a PowerPoint, it includes a PowerPoint, also includes a handbook with lots of guidance on how to get going with the framework. The second package that we sell is, it includes a half-day consultancy visit, basically, from an associate of ours. This is what I would actually recommend. So I would recommend you buy the package 2, which you would get all of your documents, the supporting documents, as well as the framework, plus a half-day consultancy. Package 3 also includes a full day of CPD. So that would be my recommendation. And if you have already purchased the framework, then have a good look through the handbook. And if you have any questions at all, do get in touch. We offer challenge clinic days where you can sign up for a 45-minute chat with one of our assessors. If you have any questions at all, or if you wanted to show us anything specific or talk about anything that you have going on in your school that might be associated with the framework. So there we go. That would be my recommendations on the first step with the challenge framework. Okay, so also the second question there, sorry Laura, I'm just going to jump in there.
Go for it.
Can we be teamed up with a secondary school who has achieved the challenge framework for support before applying for the framework? Yes, that's quite possible. If you have a look on the Challenge Development Programme webpage and scroll right down to the bottom, you will see a map. And this map, it comprises all of the challenge awarded schools that we have at the moment. So there may be somewhere in your area that you could get in contact with, or you could contact me, Karen Burnham at nace.co.uk, and I may be able to put you in touch with somebody. Alternatively, jump onto one of our challenge experience days, and you may be able to go into school and have a good tour and do a Q&A session with the school there. Those are really good kind of immersive sessions. So yes, is the answer to that question.
Karen, I can see a question from Rebecca as well. Are there any resources that we can share with parents to help them support their child at home? Yes, we don't have lots of resources for parents. Most of our resources are aimed at school leaders and teachers and practitioners, but we do have a NACE Essentials Guide, which is for parents and carers. For exactly this reason. So within the NACE Essentials area, you'll be able to access the NACE Essentials Guide for parents and carers, and you can download that. And it includes as well some other useful reference points for parents, so suggestions of other sorts of support for parents as well. So hopefully that will be useful. Few other questions. So one question around identification, which, yeah, as David says, you know, other people on the call might have views on this. This is quite a good example, actually, of the type of question that would get discussed within our More Able Leads network group. So that is led by Christabel Shepherd, who is one of our senior leaders. So she's a very experienced executive head teacher, and she leads on the NACE Challenge programme, and she's one of our curriculum development directors. So very experienced, and she facilitates those sessions. So the idea is that as the More Able Leads, you can come together as a group, you can bring these type of questions, and people within the group can share, you know, how they do it in their school. And Christabel is there to kind of share, you know, the NACE perspective or her own experience as well. So we don't tend to give a specific view in terms of, you know, what schools would be used for identification, but we do suggest using our main sort of recommendation would be to use broad range of sources of data, including quantitative and qualitative data in your identification, and really making sure that you have strategies in place to pick up on underachieving More Able learners as well. So it's a big topic. I won't try and address it in full, but do watch the webinar that I mentioned, we have a few useful blog posts as well, so I might pop those into the chat actually. So any other questions in the meantime? this link into the chat. So this is around terminology and definitions, but just tie into the identification question. So hopefully that will be useful. Any other questions or comments from anyone else? So is it a supporting letter? Not currently, although that does sound like something that would be useful for us to look at. Example resources to share with departments, or is that within the general subject guides we saw in the resources? Hopefully I'll be answering this question. So most of our resources, as I mentioned, are designed to be used across subject areas, so that they're kind of not tied to a specific subject. We do, in some cases, signpost to other organisations have particularly useful resources within a specific subject area. But yeah, mostly it's our approach is to take a sort of cross-curricular approach so that everyone's on the same page, rather than having kind of so many just off-the-shelf resources to use in a particular subject. Hopefully that's useful. But yeah, all of our resources, I would encourage having a look with a view to, okay, what can you then go and share with your subject leaders, and empowering them to go and have a look through themselves. Do say if I haven't answered that question fully. Okay, so yeah, a couple of minutes. So final call if anyone's got any other questions or comments. Obviously, do contact us afterwards if anything else comes up, or as Karen mentioned, on the Get Started page, you can book a one-to-one call if you are struggling with any aspect of using your membership, and you can you, and we will call you and talk you through whatever it might be. So just a few final things to highlight. So we have our last few webinars of the term coming up next week. So an introduction to the curriculum audit, that's happening on Monday or on Tuesday with a specific focus on the new curriculum for Wales. So those sessions are free. The curriculum audit itself is available free for you as members. So I'd really recommend joining those sessions. It's another good way just to get under the hood of NACE, what our approach is, and start to understand how that can work in your school, and get going with some of these resources. And then on Thursday as well, we've got a session about the assessment audit. Our More Able Leads Network group, we'll get that open for bookings as soon as we can, and we'll send the details out to you. So do join that session. As I said, really useful way, and as Karen said as well, really useful way to connect with peers across the country and also internationally, and discuss some of those questions. And ask NACE as well. So if you do have a particular area of provision that you would really appreciate some expert help on, we offer these Ask NACE calls. So it's kind of like a micro consultancy, if you like. So the session is around 3/4 of an hour, and that's with one of our expert consultants. And we run Ask NACE dedicated days throughout the year, but you can also request one of those at any time in the year if that will be useful for you. If there's a really particular area of provision that you need some specialist support on. And that's it. So we're just going to pop a feedback survey link into the chat box. So please open that up and just take a couple of minutes to fill that in. It is really useful for us to hear what you found useful, what was less useful, what you would like us to focus on in future sessions, future resources. So already some of you have shared some ideas for resources that probably would be useful for the schools as well, so we can look at developing those. So yeah, please do just take a couple of minutes to fill in that survey, and yeah, let us know if there's anything that we didn't cover today that you would just appreciate a bit more help with, or for us to feed into our CPD programme and resource programme for the next academic year as well. But that's it. So thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining us. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you online, hopefully next week, one of the webinars next week, and certainly next year.